So yeah, thanks for coming. I hope it's not too late for everyone. I know it's 4 for some people and somewhere between 1 and 4 for everyone, so I hope that's okay. But if someone's joining from outside of the North American area, then welcome and thanks for coming. My name's Mike, and I am the representative for the European Innovation Academy. Today we'll be talking about basically the template of the program, what you can expect. Uh, if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask them. You don't have to like raise your hand or anything. If you want, you can write it in the chat. But otherwise, like any question you have, just easygoing, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, I'll just get to your questions at the end. But yeah, no worries, you're not interrupting me or anything. All right, so let's get started. So yeah, what is the European Innovation Academy? Essentially, it's a accelerator program for entrepreneurship. It's basically like a simulated 15-day program where you will go through all of the steps necessary to basically form a startup. And that's the team building phase, product ideation, development, marketing, research, financing, intellectual property, and pitching. By the end, you will be pitching to actual investors your idea. So yeah, it's quite cool. Just a little bit about us. We have been recognized through the Financial Times as one of the top 100 digital pioneers in Europe. So it's quite cool. This was a few years back, and we're still at it. Every single year, we change up our program just a little bit based on feedback from previous cohorts. So always making improvements and innovating ourselves, which is what we aim to do. One of our primary partners is UC Berkeley. So you will actually, we kind of like co-created this with UC Berkeley, and you will be seeing lots of Cal students. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. That's for you to decide, but they will be roaming around. So yeah, the most important part, what makes us unique, why choose us, especially in the summer when you could be relaxing for 3 weeks, or I don't know, you have a job or something. Why come to EIA? I think I'll start with interdisciplinary first, actually, and leave experimental till last because I think it's the most important. But the nice thing about our program is it's kind of created with all faculties, all disciplines in mind. What a lot of times when people think entrepreneurship, they think business faculty. And they always ask like, well, what if I'm not in business? What if I'm in engineering, in medicine, in a fashion institute? Like, can I come to EIA and to the program? And the answer is yes, because entrepreneurship happens through all disciplines. It's essentially seeing a market problem and trying to find a solution. And that can happen anywhere. Maybe there's some medical process or medical device. Maybe there's something in sustainable building or sustainable fashion that you're interested in. So it's not, yes, it has business elements in it, of course, but just because you're not in a business faculty doesn't mean that entrepreneurship isn't for you. It's also multicultural. The nice thing is that we have a lot of nationalities, a lot of people from different countries. That means a lot of cultures. That's first super cool because if you haven't traveled a lot, then you get to meet a lot of different people. You're also going to connect with them, network with them, make a lot of friends. And you're also going to see how different cultures interact in a business environment as well. And that's good for team dynamic skills and cross-cultural interpersonal skills. So that's super nice. I think we have something like maybe 25 different countries or something like that, somewhere around 60, 70 nationalities. So you'll be meeting a lot of different people. And then finally we get to experimental. This is probably the most important because it's a 3-week simulation. The best thing about our program is that you can take risks. And the advice that I would give you is to take as many risks as possible and to go outside of your comfort zone, especially when it comes to competencies within this within the team, which I'll get to in just a second. But the main advice that I would give you is to fail as much as possible, because typically when you start a business on your own in the real world, any setback means that you're losing time and money. Yes, you're still gaining skills, of course. So if you fail at your first startup and you start a second one, you still have learned, but of course, you've lost some time and money. But here, you can fail, fail, and fail again, and all you're doing is learning. So I really recommend to try something new, and I will describe that in just a second when we look at team formation. So as I said, you will have an idea or an actual, I guess, startup of the foundation of a startup in these 15 days. Every single team will eventually have one. Do you need to come to the EIA program with a product idea? No, you do not. There will be some people already with ideas. If nobody has an idea, which has never happened, we will have team clinics and idea clinics. However, most people already come with somewhat of either an actual like beginning phase startup or just product ideas. And if you do not have one, no worries. You will be able to interview for the team that you like. So pre-week, this typically happens 1 week before the start of the program. The start of the program is the 16th of July. It's a Sunday. It's typically a half day. We call this day zero. Pre-week, 1 week before that, we open up our communication channel. We use Slack. You can download it now, you can download it later. But anyway, I do student communications and I'll send you all the information for downloading and how to join the a Slack channel. And this is basically so you get to know everyone and you can kind of bounce ideas off one another. It's not really meant for team building, but naturally you're going to hear of ideas that you might like, put it in your head. And then in day zero is, we call it the Problem Expo. And this is where you will either interview participants for your team or interview for a team, like get interviewed for a team. By the end, you will have a team. No worries. We do not select the team for you. It's not randomized. It's based on you and what kind of, what products or services make you interested. And yeah, if for some reason you don't have a team after day zero, no worries. On day one in the morning, we'll also have like a team clinic, team workshop. And in the end, you will have a team. We don't allow teams with more than 2 people from the same university, just because the whole point of the program is to network and get to know other people. And if just 5 people from one university are in a team, that's not as fun, I think, for them as well. So teams are typically 5 people. Of course, if we don't have a number that's divisible by 5, then some teams will have 4 people. That's fine. This is just like a basic idea of what competencies and roles you may have. That doesn't necessarily mean that these are the only ones, of course. There's finance officer, public relations, and so on. But typically, CEO, just the general designation for whoever the team leader is, whoever typically has come up with a product or service idea. Sometimes it changes, but at 98%, it's just whoever's idea it is. Chief product officer, marketing officer, and tech and design officers. The product doesn't need to be tech-based, but as we're thinking into the future, a lot of them typically are these days. And on top of that, creating apps, creating websites is just something you need for visibility anyway. So yeah, some teams will have maybe like 2 tech officers if they're very hardware and software heavy, and others might not have any. Some of the sustainable fashion services maybe didn't, and that's totally fine. And as you're looking at these roles, we go back to the experimental part, and this is exactly where I guess, yeah, I would advise you to rethink what role you might want and to try something that you may be interested in instead of something that you're very comfortable with. So if you are a business student and you think I'm great at marketing, um, yeah, you could choose the chief marketing officer, if that's something that you're incredibly passionate about. But if you ever think like, I wonder what design's like, again, this is a really good time to learn and fail. And we will give you the tools and certain skills to help you design. I'm not going to say that you're going to be a pro at it, but you will be able to complete the tasks. And it's just something for you to like, maybe you get really into it. And in the future, you move on from marketing to design, for instance. There's a question. Yeah, so basically, if you have people over, what's the schedule kind of look like? I will get to the schedule in just a second. I'll get to it here. So yeah, your evenings, your weekends are free. Absolutely. So if friends, family come visit you, then on the weekends you're absolutely free. We don't typically start until 10 o'clock in the morning, so you guys can have breakfast together, and the teams kind of dissipate around 6 in the evening, 7 in the evening. Of course, I have seen teams that work up until midnight. It really just depends on your motivation. But yeah, if your friends and family want to come visit, that's fine. Typically, we don't really want like random people walking around the venue. So at that point, maybe not like every single day they can come visit, but there are times where they probably can. Lunchtime, we also have something called the Startup Expo, which I'll get to in a second, and they can come walk around as well. But typically, our 3 weeks are kind of broken down into segments. The first one focuses on the product itself, product design, product ideation, prototyping, and figuring out who you're going to sell to. Then week 2 is typically marketing, and actually doing market research. How viable is your product within the market? Is your market too big, too small, and so on? At the end of week 2, you can see that we have something called a Startup Expo. This is something super cool. This is kind of like a midterm, I guess. We're not actually going to grade your midterm, but this is basically like, where are you at this point? After 2 weeks, you should have a general idea of, you should have a website, a product. You should start thinking about investments, where you're going to get it from. And this is kind of where all teams kind of showcase their product or service idea, and get notes from mentors, from faculty that are there, from the staff, and even from the general public. And then week 3, we typically go into modeling, intellectual property, financing, and the very last day is when you will pitch to investors. I have another question. What time do the groups wrap up? In the evenings? Yeah, typically the groups wrap up around 7. So the program is task-based. And as I said, like some teams are done at 6, other teams, if they're having like, if they have to maneuver and find a new target market on that day, they might be up till 10 or something. Really, time is more up to you and your team than it is something that we regulate. Kind of in the mornings we do for the keynotes, those are at specific times, but otherwise we don't really regulate that. Healthcare provider, it's the average age of students. The average age of students probably is going to be 23, 24, somewhere between undergrad and grad. So I would say typically we have more undergrad students than graduate students, but we are open to everyone, not just students, also alumni or just anyone that's interested. Previous iterations, we have had people that are starting a career, or just they have an idea that they kind of want to see if it works, and this is a great way for them to do it, and maybe they can find somebody you know to from other countries to go on that journey with. Oh, yeah, so this is just a basic outline. I can't say that this is going to be 100% what this year will look like, because we are constantly changing our program, a little bit tweaking it, I guess I would say, not changing, tweaking it. But this is kind of what last year's day-to-day program looked like. And of course, you will be given tasks. Day 2, customer discovery, you will get tasks, marketing campaign design tasks, pitch decks tasks, and so on. And so, yeah, I've already kind of briefly touched upon the daily schedule, but this is basically it. From 10 to 12, you will have your keynote speeches. Typically, they deal with whatever you're going through that day, and these will be the mentors. So the mentors will also be doing keynote speeches. Then we break for lunch. Lunch is on you guys. Whatever, we have food trucks nearby. You can bring lunch from home. You can go out, or you can just maybe if you catch a mentor, you can get an extra session, or you can work with your team, whatever. And then from 1 to 6 p.m., this is teamwork. We will be giving you tasks on one of our program tools. As you can see, we have 3 program tools. I've already discussed Slack. That's the communication channel. We don't use WhatsApp, apologies, Slack. And this is where you'll get your daily activities, who your mentors are. EPI Products is where you will get your tasks. So this is a software that we use. They'll get your tasks. And this is where also you'll be communicating with your mentors. So the mentors will not be on Slack. Everything to do with mentors. Think of it as like a class. And if you have some sort of like class software, Teams or something, but instead of Teams, we use EPI Products. And the mentoring sessions are from 2 to 5. You will be assigned a mentor and a slot. So you do not have to sign up for a mentor. You will be given one. So no worries there. And the mentors will change every week, because of course the first week the mentors will focus on product design, so it'll be product design mentors. Second week, marketing mentors, and so on. Third week, financing and investors. But yeah, we have a couple mentors that are there for all 3 weeks, but typically they change every single week. On top of mentorship sessions, we also have clinics and workshops. Workshops are where we will teach you those skills that you might need to go through the tasks. And these are really helpful if you want to try out something new. So for instance, like I said earlier, if you're a marketer, but you want to try out design, this is where we help you. If you want to try out coding, this is where we help you. Again, don't expect after 3 weeks to be a professional at these things, but they will give you like a basic foundation and they will help you get through the tasks. Maybe you're really interested in it. Maybe it's a new passion that you can use. But yeah, we do have workshops to help you out. And we also have clinics. Clinics are kind of like, let's say, team building clinics, team dynamic clinics. It's always going to happen where teams argue. And this is a way to just discuss it with a professional. Also, if you're homesick or something, or you just, it's too much stress and there's anxiety, that's what these clinics are for. For clinics and workshops, those aren't mandatory. And for those, you will have to sign up. Mentor sessions, you do not have to sign up. But for these, if you'd like to join them, I recommend you do. You just sign up at the beginning of the day. Let's see. Can you go to a workshop that's not in your team role? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just, this entire opportunity is for you to learn. It's not like we're kind of putting you in a box. This is for you to explore. Typically, when you apply for a role, interview for a role with your team, we ask that you don't switch too often. Of course, if it's day 2 and you're interested in doing something else, that's fine. But please, in week 2 or week 3, if everyone's switching, it's not that great for the team specific. But if you're interested, you can go to all the workshops. There's no like limit or anything. So this is just an example of some of the mentors that you'll have. Of course, we had, I think last year, like 60 mentors. So this is what, 7 of them, or no, 10 of them. Man, it's night here, so counting is hard. But yeah, as you can see, they're typically from Silicon Valley or like very recognized unicorns in Europe, Wise, TikTok, Spotify, Google, Uber, yeah, Amazon, and many, many more. So if you'd like to see our mentors, you can go on our website. We will probably be sharing the 2023 mentors sometime in March. And so you will be updated on that. Right now we're interviewing them, and yeah, hopefully it'll be a good year. This year we anticipate something around 550 participants. So we will have more than 60 mentors, probably around 70, 75. So quite a good way to network as well. Let's see, we have another question. Okay, I'm an international student, Bangladeshi passport, apply for visas. Yes, so for visas, you will, so if you are from a country where you don't need a Schengen visa, then you're fine for 3 months. So if you are a Canadian citizen or a US citizen or from Mexico or Chile, I believe all of those, if you're from there, you don't need a visa at all. Just arrive, you get 3 months in all of Schengen, 20 something, 6 countries, 30 countries. So you're fine, especially for 3 weeks, and you can even travel before or after if you so choose to. If you are from a country that you do need a visa for, I would recommend trying to book an appointment with your embassy now. Any Schengen embassy or consulate will do. So even though it's being held in Portugal, if for some reason there are no appointments available at a Portuguese embassy or consulate, you can go to a German one, a Dutch one, an Italian one, Slovakian, whatever, and you can book it there. It's all the same thing. You don't need a Portuguese visa. You would just need a Schengen visa. We will help you with paperwork, but of course, otherwise, the appointment you would have to do yourself. Okay, yeah, just an example of this is our week 1 mentors. Of course, they do change every single week, but yeah. Also, if this is more something that you would have to discuss with your university specifically. For our European participants, it's very simple. We do offer credits. You get 6 credits. It's very simple in Europe. If you're not from Europe, I would recommend discussing this with your university representative. We do have our grading system is changing a little bit from a pass-fail to letter grades. Of course, we don't anticipate giving anyone like a failing grade, but this will help a lot of universities transfer these credits. And of course, it says 6 ECTS. That's for Europe. If you're from the States or Canada or somewhere in the Americas in general, then I guess semester systems, a class is typically like 3 or 4 credits. So if you're able to transfer, that is what you will get. Please allow 1 to 2 months after the end of the program to get your credits. We are partnered with the University of Porto, so you will be getting your credits from them, and everything moves a little bit slower in Portugal. So yeah, just give us 1 or 2 months and you will get them. The application process, it's really, from our side, it's just anyone who's interested in entrepreneurship. We do ask, of course, that anyone that comes to the program is focused on the program. A lot of people do have different motivations. And this is one of the reasons for like the team dynamic clinics, because of course, yes, it is possible that one person in your group is there to just hang out in Portugal. Sadly, that does occur. But please make it easier on your group and just be there for them. There's always time on the weekends to go and explore Porto or Lisbon or whatever. But the application process by itself, if you are from a university, if you got this webinar info from your university, please go talk to your university representative. Typically, we streamline the process by you going through your university. If not, you can definitely apply directly through us. You can go on the website, click apply, and then you will get an email from me. So yeah. Okay, student accommodation. Yeah, where will you be staying? Do we offer it? So student accommodation isn't included in the tuition. It's $995. That is a set price. Check in 2 days before the start of the program. Check out 2 days after the start of the program. Last year, I actually stayed at this place. Everyone's in the same place. It's like a student village. It's super cool. It is not mandatory at all. So if you want to find an Airbnb, go for it. But of course, I would say 99% of people are going to be staying here. So it's a good opportunity, yeah, to just hang out, connect, and network with everyone. Super nice. Yeah, pool, gym, rooftop, games room, cinema, lounge areas, workspaces, laundry, 24/7 security. You have a key card to get in, high-speed internet, and you don't need to bring anything with you, and everything is there. I mean, of course, if you need some like hair products or something, go for it. But otherwise, kitchenware, kitchen utensils, bedding, towels, everything is there. This is kind of what the rooms look like. Just think of it as like a studio. You're basically getting your own studio. And this is if you choose a single studio. If you choose a cluster, the only difference between the single studio and the cluster is, as you can see in the single studio, you have you have a kitchenette, let's call it a tiny kitchen. But in the cluster, you have a much larger kitchen and a living room that you're sharing with 4 other people. So it's 5 rooms that encircle a living room and a kitchen. So good opportunity to meet new people, but but you will, regardless, no matter what, have your own room with a private bathroom. And yeah, just some more pictures of what the accommodation looks like. Like I said, I stayed here last year. It's super cool. Hopefully I'll stay there again. Yeah, so this time around, we're back in Porto. We were in Porto for the first time last year. Beautiful city, compact, very European. You can easily roam around the center 3-4 hours. The sunsets are very nice from the bridge, from the monastery, seeing the reflection off the river. There's also a beach nearby, maybe 20 minutes by taxi and 30 minutes by metro. So super cool. The water is a bit cold, but anyway. So yeah, the nice thing about Porto as well is it is quite cheap. I mean, of course, there has been some inflation, but relatively small. And Porto is typically like 50% cheaper for transportation, for food, for everything. Coffee's like €1 there. So compared to like large cities in North and South America. So very nice. Yeah, I don't know if you guys haven't been there or been to Portugal. This is kind of what it looks like. A lot of terraces, a lot of balconies, very tiny. Cobblestone streets, wear comfortable shoes. There's no dress code specific. I mean, in general, like maybe not too casual, but we don't really have a dress code. So just wear something comfortable. It is quite hot. It can get to 100 degrees, 40 Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius. So please understand, like it's hot, but yeah, and it's uphill as well. That's another reason to wear comfortable shoes, cobblestones, and it's uphill. You will get a nice workout. And just a quick video of Porto. Another thing about Portugal is everything starts much later. People typically have dinner around 9, 10 o'clock, and then they go out. So it will be quiet. It'll be quiet in the afternoon, and then things definitely pick up. We have a question: are the accommodations walking distance to where the course is held? Okay, so good question. So last year the accommodation was right across the street from the venue, literally right across the street. This year, because we anticipate a much larger cohort, we are looking at options for a larger venue, and we are very much so going to attempt to make it as close to the accommodation, or at least the metro, as possible. We will have more information next month regarding that, but we're just trying to get the absolute best venue that we can. But I will update everyone on that once I have more information as well. My tech skills are poor. So in 2022, just a brief overview, we had around 450 participants. This time, not as many COVID regulations in the universities, so we anticipate something around 550. I also don't think that there will be any COVID restrictions. Last year, the only thing you had to do was wear a face mask in public transportation. It's possible it's still like that this summer, but otherwise, when it comes to restrictions for entering Portugal, there aren't any. And a brief video just from some participants, their feedback explaining the EIA program. Can you guys hear the video? No? Oh, man. All right. Well, okay, we'll skip it. He loved the program. TLDR. Yep. And let's. And this one's just a brief introduction of what the 22 program looked like. Apologies if there's no sound. I should take a tech workshop, I think. As you could tell, half your time will just be ping-ponging and foosballing, so work on those foosball skills. Europeans tend to be much better at it. Yep, foosball and handstands. Also, the program's a very good opportunity to work on your posing. If you're ever going to be an influencer, I think it's quite important. All right. And okay, so that's the presentation. I hope you guys, I know some of you are already joining this summer. I hope the rest of you are considering it. I will now, well, we have 4 questions in the chat, so I'll start getting to questions. So the acceptance rates, I would discuss that with your university representative. Different universities have different recruitment processes. And so it's possible that they're looking for very specific students to fill very specific roles. From our side, we don't accept everyone, of course. We also do our interview. If you come through us directly, we have a small interview process. But if you're coming through the university, I would recommend, just talking to your university rep about that. You have a ping pong table in the basement. Yeah. Make the US proud, that's what I'm saying, or Canada, or make, everyone else here is like, I'm like the token American at the working for EIA, and they're always like killing me at these sports, so I got to get on it as well. Thanks, Claire. I don't know if you're still here, but let's see. Can you please share the recording of this presentation? Yeah, absolutely. I will. Actually, if you want to write me your email, or if you just want to send me a direct message, I will write my email. So yeah, Becca, if you just want to direct message. Sorry. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely send you the recording once I'm done, or maybe tomorrow morning. It is a bit late here. But yeah, any other questions about the program, about Porto, about accommodation, about anything that I can help out with? Don't be shy. I'm that good of a presenter. I answered everything. Man, gold star. All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, then I want to thank you guys for coming to the webinar. And if you ever have any questions for me, please, my email's in the chat. And also, well, that says info at Academy, but you can just, we have another question. How did this program further your career path? So actually, I didn't participate myself in the program, but typically we have a lot of success stories, especially in tech fields, where this program kind of either reinvigorated a passion in someone, or just got them the understanding that they needed, or also just like the skills. Like there are people that come that are very shy and unsure of themselves. And I think once you get into a supportive environment, then the skills that you have meet interpersonal skills as well. And I think that this really helps out in any business environment. These days, we're always communicating online and so on with everyone, and with different cultures as well. So it's quite nice. Yeah, no worries, Sophia. So this is something, so I have a question about how many companies get an investment at the end. This is something that changes every single year. It depends on the program, and it depends on the investors that we have in. But last year we had six teams that got an investment, the top one getting 15,000, I think. Oh, and also one more thing, just to let you guys know, for our intellectual property, your idea is owned by you. It's not owned by us or anything. we hold nothing about it. And so you will be able to patent it after we have patent classes. So yeah, it's absolutely yours. It's not like in a company, if you're an employee and you have an idea, it's the company's. No. Everything is yours. So yeah, no worries there. Any other questions? All right. Yep. Well, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. And I hope to see you in Porto for 3 weeks in the summer. Awesome. I guess I'll end this and have a good rest of your evening, I guess most of you, or afternoon.